Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The invasion of Ukraine is a despicable act by a desperate criminal regime. How we respond now will determine the strength of our democracy and collective security for decades to come. We have a strategic imperative and a moral duty to act. The people of Ukraine are putting up a fearsome resistance that is nothing short of inspiring. 62 days on, Russian forces have been repelled from the north of the country and are now confined to waging their war to the south and east of Ukraine. It is estimated that some 2,000 Russian armoured vehicles, 60 aircraft, 2 key naval assets have been either destroyed or captured, and around 15,000 Russian personnel reportedly killed, all as a result of Vladimir Putin's arrogance. I am proud of the decisive action that the UK has taken to help Ukrainians defend their freedom and their homeland. The support provided is far too extensive to detail in full here today, but it is worth reinforcing that the UK has been leading efforts to coordinate an international response to Russian aggression since 2015, following their annexation of Crimea. Under Operation Orbital, our armed forces trained over 22,000 Ukrainian soldiers. The UK has led the world, being the first country to send defensive weapons to Ukraine, despite the resistance of many at the time. And the UK has also provided key logistical support to help Ukraine even the odds in their struggle to maintain their freedom. And I'd like to pay tribute to the Royal Air Force, who've worked relentlessly to help supply Ukraine with the vital equipment they need. I hope that many of our friends and allies will do more to follow suit. A disappointing report published by the German newspaper Bild last week found that Olaf Scholz's office vetoed over 2/3 of deliveries that the German Chancellor had previously promised. By contrast, in High Peak, I've been struck by the number of local people who have stepped up to offer their support in any way that they can. In particular, I'd like to thank Mike Chandler at Chapel-on-the-Frith Parish Council, who, along with Whaley Bridge Town Council and others, has been leading the way, coordinating local efforts to reach out and support those Ukrainians arriving in the UK and those households who are kindly hosting them. I also want to highlight local charities like Little Cherubs and Buxton Baby Bank, as well as organisations like High Peak Homes for Ukraine, the firefighters at Derbyshire Fire and Rescue, and others who've been doing such amazing work to help. And we've seen lots of local businesses step up too, including Lomas Distribution in Buxton, who sent a lorry load of essentials to Ukraine. Madam Deputy Speaker, back in February, together with a number of other Conservative colleagues, I wrote to the Prime Minister to call on the government to provide a flexible, pragmatic and compassionate policy for Ukrainians seeking temporary refuge in the UK. Our country has a long and proud history of taking people in need and supporting the most vulnerable during their darkest hour. I'm glad that the government has listened. So far, over 70,000 visas have been issued to Ukrainians. And as a testament to the generous spirit of people of High Peak, my office and I have been inundated with inquiries from constituents who are sponsoring visas for those fleeing the conflict. I'm working as hard as I can to help resolve any applications that are still outstanding with the Home Office. I remain concerned, however, about the life chances of Ukrainian children and their access to a good education when they arrive in the UK. We need a joined-up approach across government and local authorities so that Ukrainian children have the best possible chance at rebuilding their life. A key part of this task must be identifying Ukrainian translators from amongst those arriving in the UK and putting their language skills to good effect as quickly as possible. We also need to keep in mind that many Ukrainians coming to the UK will be deeply traumatised by their experiences, so access to mental health support is also essential. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm very proud of the way the High Peak and the UK have responded to this crisis, but it is essential that we maintain our resolve and our support for the people of Ukraine. Russia is betting that the world will tire of the conflict and international unity will fragment as the weeks turn to months. We must not let that happen. We're already seeing some voices, sadly including some in this House, try to put pressure on Ukraine to negotiate a settlement with Moscow. That is a decision that can only be taken by the sovereign Ukrainian people themselves. In reality, some of these calls for peace are actually calls for the Ukrainians to simply surrender and give Putin what he wants. The last couple of months have exposed some of those voices for what they really are, and it heartens me to see them so isolated, with many who were only recently echoing Kremlin propaganda scrambling to reposition themselves on the right side of history. Time will be their judge, and ours. Our job is to support Ukrainians in their fight to defend their freedom and their homeland. It has never been more important that we stay united and stand up for what is right.
Ruth Cadbury